Commissioner Brenner?
Here.
Commissioner Frederick?
Here.
Commissioner Lawfer?
Here.
Commissioner Sastry?
Here.
Commissioner Teeter? Vice Chair Malone?
Here.
Chair Lee?
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, our next item is approval of the minutes from the February 4th meeting. Would anyone like to make a motion to approve?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstains? Any noes? Okay, thank you.
Just a reminder to please turn your microphones on because the YouTube doesn't, when it goes onto YouTube, it doesn't, it's not very loud if you don't actually have your microphone on.
Okay, great. Any presentations for today? No presentations. Any oral requests from the public? No requests from the public. No unfinished business. And so on to new business, the multimodal transportation plan.
Great, so I am going to introduce Tiffany Hudson. She is online. She works for the city of Campbell, and she is the project manager for the multimodal plan, transportation plan for the city of Campbell. And as this was something the Park and Recreation Commission had expressed some interest, we've asked her to come tonight to kind of share the progress of this plan as to, in addition to some upcoming potential outreach opportunities for the Park and Recreation Commission to be involved. All right, Tiffany, it is all yours.
Thanks, Natasha. Good evening, commissioners. As Natasha said, my name is Tiffany Hudson. I am the project manager for the city's multimodal transportation plan, which we are about midway through at this point. So I'm happy to give a brief overview of the project tonight, let you know what what's been going on with the project, the research we've done so far, the work that's been developed, and where we're at with our next phase of community outreach that we'll be launching soon. So give me one moment to share my presentation here. So like I said, we'll do a little bit of project background. We'll introduce the project and the goals, the schedule and our work plan, and the community and stakeholder engagement and next steps on the project. So our general plan calls for a complete streets network that accommodates all users. So this plan is an attempt to do that. We were awarded a grant from Caltrans to support the planning efforts on this project, and we've been working with Alta Planning and Design. Along with Alta, we've got Fair and Peers and Catalyze Silicon Valley, a local CBO. So together, we've got a really robust team that will be looking at things like active transportation, transit, and supporting the community outreach on this plan. So the goal of the multimodal plan is to have a citywide plan that improves mobility for everyone, for all abilities and all ages. So there is a little bit of a focus on walking, biking, transit access, all of these other alternative modes to getting around Campbell rather than getting in your car. We understand that, that's the primary way that people move through the city. So we don't want to limit that, but we do want to provide alternative options as we continue to grow as a city, making sure that we're not just further congesting our roads. So this plan really helps inform future work plans for city staff and will help set us up for grant competitiveness to implement some of these projects. So at the end of this plan, we will have a community prioritized list of infrastructure projects and programs. So these infrastructure recommendations could include things like better sidewalks or new crosswalks or intersection safety upgrades. It could include things like new trails, separated bikeways, more parking for bikes, or bus stop improvements, better access to transit, or even things like landscaping and pedestrian scale lighting, anything that really makes it sort of more comfortable for people to move through the city. So we created a list of draft project goals, and these have been vetted through the first round of our community outreach. And what we've come up with is prioritizing roadway safety, network cohesiveness and connectivity, equity, health and sustainability, and funding and implementation. So I won't read these the entire list of draft goals, but those are kind of the focus areas that we're considering as we develop this plan. So we started in 2025 in the summer. We kicked off the project and did an existing conditions analysis, which I'll talk more about in a moment. And then we did our first phase of public outreach in the fall. We are in the process of identifying potential projects for consideration as part of this plan. And the next phase of outreach will be launching soon, and it'll be really about refining that list. As part of this plan, not only will we have recommendations for the infrastructure network as well as programs like I mentioned, but we will also have up to 6 concept plans, which will kind of be like the rough first step of designing maybe a corridor, an intersection, or some segment of a roadway in Campbell. And those will be sort of what we call our grant ready. And they'll be packaged as a way to help us as a city go out and compete for competitive funds to implement those projects. We'll have a draft plan by the end of this year, early next, and hopefully have an adopted plan by spring of 2027. As I mentioned, the first step was that existing conditions analysis. So we looked at all of the existing plans in the city, as well as plans from VTA and the county. We looked at safety, we looked at equity, we looked at traffic stress as people are biking through the streets, also active trip potential. So looking at where are those short trips that are maybe a mile that could be walkable or a few miles that could be bikeable that people are driving now that could, use an alternative mode. We also looked at transit access and our existing bike and pedestrian infrastructure. Also part of this work plan is a lot of community engagement. That's been a big pillar of this work. So engaging with the community, we've had this equity lens of trying to reach these harder to reach groups in the city. And we're doing a lot of coordination with agency partners. So we will also, like I said, develop recommended projects and programs. And then the implementation plan will be really about prioritizing those projects and programs, developing those concept plans that I mentioned, and providing cost estimates for what those projects might cost, and then the draft and final plan. So we're taking a phased approach to the outreach that will help us adequately prioritize projects. So the first phase was really about just introducing the project, letting people know that we're working on a multimodal plan and identifying the unmet need. Phase 2, which is upcoming, is really about, like I said, refining those project recommendations and helping to inform the priorities for this plan. And then phase 3 will be about reviewing and refining that draft plan once that's ready prior to plan adoption. So in phase 1, that goal was, like I said, really understanding the unmet need. So trying to understand what are people's current travel challenges, where do they experience these, and what would they like to see improved. And we had pop-up events. We were at a couple of Campbell's farmers markets and the Prune Yard. We did a virtual community workshop. We hosted a walking tour and biking tour as part of a mobility audit. We also have a technical advisory committee that is 2 parts. We've got a group of experts that are folks at agency organizations, agency partners, as well as community members. And then we also had this online survey and web map tool that people could add pins to of places that they go, places that they face challenges. And again, this targeted outreach approach of really, going door to door, talking to businesses, working with the schools, doing neighborhood outreach, really relying on our community partnerships and also just direct communication of newsletters and social media posts to really connect with people and, again, let them know that this plan is happening. And again, I mentioned we have this technical advisory committee made up of both a community advisory group and this interagency coordination group. So on the phase 1 outreach, we reached tens of thousands of people. We directly engaged with 1,500 community members and collected over 1,800 comments. So we're hoping to have similarly robust phase 2 engagement. But what we heard is that the highest priority is to make it safer and easier for people to walk places in Campbell. We also heard that people want to improve the accessibility to both downtown Campbell and the Prune Yard to major destinations, we heard, and connect Campbell to surrounding cities with a high quality bikeway. And there's a lot of public interest in creating solutions for major streets. So phase 2 input opportunities, we again will be doing some pop-up events. So we will likely be at a couple of Campbell farmers markets or other events. We're still finalizing the details of the outreach plan. So I don't have all of those details for you tonight, but I can follow up with more details once we've finalized the events. But we will be doing a couple of pop-up events again. We'll be doing a community workshop. This will be in person. We also have our technical advisory committee meetings. And then again, we'll have a web map. So you can see this screenshot on the slide is a screenshot from our first web map. So again, people could drop pins of where they go, what are their destinations, where do they face challenges. This second web map will be very different. It will include the recommended areas or areas under consideration for this plan. So you might see we're considering a bikeway here. We're considering a protected bike lane here. We're looking at this intersection of how it might be able to be improved. And people will be able to like projects. They will be able to provide comments. And if there's anything that we missed, there'll be an opportunity to add new ideas to the web map as well. So while subject to change, we are planning to go to council soon in April. And we'll go back to council with the draft plan in early 2027, and that plan adoption in spring, summer 2027. So that's the timeline that we're looking for the rest of this project. So again, spring 2026, we've got this phase 2 outreach, and then we'll develop those concept plans and then work on creating the plan document itself. So if anyone has any questions, I'm happy to answer those tonight.
Thank you, Tiffany. Any questions? Tiffany?
Yeah, so in the agencies you're coordinating with, I didn't see San Jose. And using Campbell as a biking corridor, it's like harrowing where it splits from Prospect. And I was thinking about that as I was marking up the map. But then I realized that that most harrowing section is in San Jose, but it's really connected to biking in Campbell. So is there any outreach or at least review of the San Jose plans for bike corridors?
Yes, San Jose is part of our interagency coordination committee. I didn't mention them when I was running through the list. I didn't mention everyone that's in the group, but yes, San Jose is included because we do understand many of the roads in Campbell do cross over into San Jose and then sometimes cross back into Campbell. So we're working very closely with our agency partners.
Thank you.
I have a question. Hi, Tiffany. I really love the map you created. I thought it was a great opportunity to identify all the different areas where people were having problems or had ideas. And one of the reasons that I was so interested in it is we had been talking here in Parks and Recreation about the bicycle and pedestrian safety that impacts our approaches to our parks and particularly our community center. And so I'm wondering if that prioritizing our parks isn't something that's being talked about in this multimodal plan.
Yes, we are talking about, like I mentioned, we're considering where key destinations are, often which include parks, where our parks are, where our schools are. As you can imagine, there are a lot of different priorities. This plan is citywide, so the final network recommendations will cover all of the city of Campbell. Those concept designs of those sort of more detailed plans will only have maybe 5 or 6 of those in the plan. So one of the things that we're trying to figure out in this next phase of outreach is how we can best prioritize. Is it thinking about what roadways people use the most? Is it about prioritizing parks? Is it about prioritizing, all of the different sort of things under consideration? So that's a question that we are trying to answer with this phase.
Is there anything we can do as a commission to emphasize the importance of our parks along with our schools. I think of them similarly, since they draw youth, they draw older people, they draw some of the most vulnerable residents in our city.
So I would absolutely encourage anyone who's interested in this plan. That web map is a great tool to gather all of that feedback. Again, when we have events, we won't be doing mobility audits this time, but when we have events, we've been very open of letting commissioners and board members know that they are welcome to attend events. I do know there are some challenges with that. We've asked folks to show up as individuals of residents of Campbell rather than put their commissioner hat on if they're participating in something like a mobility audit or one of our workshops. But it is an open invitation for people to attend and provide input on.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions?
Yeah, sorry, I had a question just about, I guess, you mentioned grant competitiveness. Overall question, is there budget for any of these parks, or is this basically the framework to start building that budget, start pairing with these other agencies to try and get those grants? I guess I'm just curious what the timeline would be for any projects implemented.
Sorry, I'm hearing your question, but it's cutting in and out a little. It's a little bit quiet. Can you maybe repeat your question for me? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no problem. Trying to understand the timeline of if and when these projects would be implemented, if there's budget set aside, or if this is kind of just the first steps, and there's and you really are just looking at grants at the moment, and if other agencies will be, I guess, co-sponsoring, co-funding this.
So I think it really depends. And I'll say I don't sit in public works. I sit in our community development department. So ultimately, this is really a plan for our public works team to implement as they own, what happens in the right of way. But I do know that we're taking into account where we already have planned projects. So some of this might be, there's already a planned project happening, but this plan might inform some of the decisions that get made as part of that project. So there are things that could get implemented as that could be part of our CIP fund. There are also other projects that might be grant funded, and that would really just depend on when those cycles become available. But we would have those projects and have them prioritized of which ones we want to implement first, and could go chase grant funding to support those if it is not part of our CIP.
Gotcha. Yeah, I guess all that to say, I want to second the comment about the parks being a destination, especially like John D. Morgan, where you have a school and a park together. But there's lots of areas that I think need to be prioritized. And if we're talking 5-10 years down the road before something gets implemented, that'll be difficult for citizens to stomach.
And one of the things I will say that we are considering with these concept plans, there are projects that can be very infrastructure intensive that take a lot longer, that are more costly. There are also ways to, depending on what the project is, sort of do a quick build to prototype it and test it out and do something that's a little bit more temporary. So you may have seen this in other cities where, they could paint the streetway and basically mark out where a curb cutout, like a bump out would be, without actually building it. So you get people sort of moving through the roadways differently, but then making the longer term project more permanent. But that's another way to consider like prioritizing and phasing projects and being able to have impact earlier.
Gotcha. I appreciate that. Last question though. I guess this online map, is this available at the moment, or is there, when does this?
It is not available at the moment. It will be made available in April. And I'm happy to get an update and send that link out to you all so everyone has access to it. We also have a project webpage. It was at the end of my presentation, campbellca.gov/multimodal. If you go there, whenever these events, once we get things scheduled and we have materials and we have the web map, all of that will be made available on that webpage as well.
Okay, great. Yep. Thank you.
Hi, Tiffany. Thank you for your presentation. One question I had was, when prioritizing the projects, is there sort of like small, medium, and large, or in other words, will the prioritization be largely based around importance, or are there kind of buckets for projects of different scale?
So that's one of the things that we're still considering and will be part of us figuring this out. So like I said, when we have this web map, and we'll have a similar map at the farmers market that's tactile and you can, provide comments on a sticky note too. But part of this is really thinking about all of these is some of these are going to be individual projects, but some of these might be things where, oh, there are 3 intersections in a row and they're all, getting a lot of comments. Okay, well, that might be a concept design where it's a stretch of the corridor that includes multiple intersections. So some of this will kind of depend on the feedback that we get from the community as part of this outreach phase. But it'll also be, a question to our city council of what is most important to them, and how they want us to think about prioritization. But we will put together what we call a prioritization matrix, where we'll be scoring projects, and that can be scored on things like how much community input we received for these, how simple or complex are these projects, what might already have funding or already have a planned project around it. So all of that will go into the prioritization.
That makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. And do we have any comments from the public? Okay. Well, welcome, Sherry. Okay. Closing public comment and opening it up for discussion. We've had some discussion already, but anything else before we move on? Okay. Thank you so much, Tiffany. Thanks for joining
Thank
us
you.
tonight. Okay, next agenda item is Adult Center Programs and Services.
Great. So I'm going to introduce Kevin Martz. He is our recreation coordinator with our adult services program 50 plus. Tina Wong Erling is also here in the audience. She is the recreation supervisor for our adult center. And so the previous commission meeting, it was asked to have them come. And so we will be having a different division come every month, and these guys are going to kick us off. There is an arrow for you to raise. Yes, but you can also raise the podium up higher if you'd like.
Not that we have a program for this technology help. Probably need to take it. So good evening, Parks and Recreation Commission. My name is Kevin Martz. I have almost 2 decades of professional recreation service experience. My first career was traveling the world, coaching and playing volleyball. But then I fell in love with recreation and the impact that it can have on not just an individual, but a community. And about a year ago, that community became Campbell when Tina and Natasha decided to add me onto the team. So I appreciate this opportunity to discuss our slice of the recreation pie, the slice that we like to call the Adult Services Division. Now, our goal is to be a hub for older adults, age 50 plus, offering engaging activities, programs, and services that support social connection, community building, and a fulfilling quality of life. My goal is to give you a glimpse of how we do this, what it means to the residents of Campbell, and maybe even more importantly, what it's going to mean to the residents of Campbell tomorrow. The Adult Center is staffed by a wide range of people, only 2 of which are full-time. We have 2 other part-timers that I'll talk about in a second, but we are flanked by an assortment of recreation instructors, front desk staff, and recreation facility attendants. Those are the face of our program, and they are the foundation of our entire program as well. They are what you think of when you hear the word adult center or senior programming, right? They are, go ahead, next. I don't know if I have that ability. They are the pickleball, right? They are the trips. They are the groups, the classes, the fitness classes, of which we have 7. They are the art classes, or 2 or 3 or 4 that we have. They are the wide assortment of special events or programs and groups that we have. This is what everybody thinks of when you hear the word senior programming or adult center. As you can see, this is just a small amount of them. We have them all. They, again, are the foundation of our program. They're heavily utilized, and almost every single class is fully engaged. We have a wait list on almost every single class that we have. It's really popular, and we can't be more proud of what they're doing. There's a reason why these activities are so prevalent. They satisfy every aspect of our desired goals, from physical fitness, social interaction, community building, but probably most importantly, they are an integral part of assisting seniors in independent living. Better physical fitness means you're capable of going out more. Maybe it's without pain, maybe it's doing something that you've always enjoyed doing, but you're getting out and capable of doing it. And we have so many classes that are absolutely filled that it's great to hear the stories that come back to us from people that have been engaging in those. Trips, you can't say enough about. They are people that get out and go to a place that might not always want to or go to. Tomorrow, I'm taking 50 people down to the Monterey Bay Aquarium. And you can't imagine how many of them have told me, I don't go there anymore because I hate driving, or I hate parking, or I don't like the stress and the aspect of that, or my 4 friends don't want to go in that. And we hear that all the time. And that's one of the reasons why it's great to have these opportunities, or maybe it's even an opportunity for them to go someplace they've never gone. We went last year to the Oakland Zoo, and I kept hearing over and over again, I've lived here 40 years, I've never been there. I've lived here 25 years. I've never even seen the Oakland Zoo before. I always go to San Francisco. And yet on the way back I had heard it so many times, I took a straw poll. I said, hey, raise your hand. How many of you people have never been to the Oakland Zoo before? It was well over 90% of them had never gone because they'd never got thought of the opportunity or decided that they wanted to go by themselves. So those help those people get out there and more. Our special events, they promote engagement, find common interest, and they help build community. If you were here last Friday, or if you were at our Lunar New Year event last Friday, you experienced exactly what I'm talking about. We had 150 people from all different walks of life engaging in our Lunar New Year. We had lion dances, the CPAA, Chinese Performing Arts of America Association. They were out there. They had 6 different performances that they did. It was an amazing moment. It was a great, amazing evening, and everybody had a great time. And this isn't some professional review of what these programs can mean. This is what we hear on a day-to-day basis. These are the stories that we hear. These are the results that we get. And this is just what we hear from our participants every single day. It's that 95-year-old Carmi who's in my fitness class at 9 a.m., who drives herself, lives by herself, and she's an inspiration to every single person in that classroom, right? It's the person who took our trip, got on the bus not knowing anybody in the entire town of Campbell, got off the bus, and now she's got 3 friends and plans for the next trip as well, right? Those are the stories and comments that we hear and we see on a day-to-day basis. That is 1/3 of what we do, because the next third is what seniors might need even more. And this is a population that can find themselves in a confusing, difficult situation, maybe not knowing what's next to do. And that's where our social services come into play. Social services are an essential component of all senior programs. They provide a continuum of opportunities to meet the needs of an aging community. From navigating the complexities of health insurance, receiving legal advice or expertise, deciding how, when, or what long-term care might be necessary, tax assistance, even something as easy as getting a notarized document, or as you can see here, we have a tech tutoring, which apparently I need as well, a tech tutoring operation. This is Porna, helping people figure out maybe their iPhone, their new iPad that they got, a new laptop. However, whatever happens, they come in, they get help, they get the help that they need. All of these things have a massive impact, and all of these programs and participants or programs that we have a massive impact on the individual level. And one of our part-time team members, Pat, sees this firsthand. So Pat does case management. Case management is a little different. It provides information assistance to individuals. She's a part-time worker, and she answers the call for help from people needing housing, transportation, financial assistance, and caregiver support. She helps bridge that gap between those that need and those that provide. This can be an absolutely immeasurable relief to those that feel overwhelmed by the circumstances that life can hand out. As you can imagine, this is a pretty important aspect of what we do. We give people the need and the desire, not just in their classes, but also in the things in their life that might feel overwhelming. Which brings us to our third part, which is quite literally something that can apply for our 50-plus management or our 50-plus membership. Established in 1974, Campbell was one of the original sites in the county for the senior nutrition program. Partnered with Santa Clara County, we serve an average of 70 lunches each day to those in need. Our nutrition site manager, Gayatri, you might hear referred to as G, heads the charge of this program where the age of 60 is the only requirement, but the average is usually upper 70s or 80s. It serves a low-income demographic. And walking through the room, I guarantee you will hear 4 or 5 languages before you reach halfway, and you will meet some of the most colorful people that you can ever imagine. Just before serving, we typically play a game of bingo, or we have exercises from a video that we play. Now, 70 a day, that averaged out to, in 2024, 2025, that's over 17,000 meals that we handed out. That's 17,000 times that people sat down with other community members and partook. They broke bread at the table, which is amazing. For some, it might be their entire social life. For others, it might be the only meal that they know they're going to get that day. What we do know, it's clear to us that to all of them, it is a basic necessity that they have on a day-to-day life because they show up every single day. We'll never know the full impact of what we at the Adult Center provide to a community. It's too big. We have so many programs. We have so many aspects. We have services. We have people. We have so many things that we do. It's just too much to track the actual impact that we might have. But what we do know is the need because we answer the phone. We listen to the people when they talk to us, and we see it every single day. But what might be even more important is we see what's on the horizon. We are about to have the largest demographic of humans in America age into our programs, right? Senior services is going to be tested to its limits. The programs might change. The trips are going to go somewhere new, promise. We'll still do the whale watching trip. She was on that. That was pretty epic. Okay. The latest fitness fad might not be pickleball anymore, right? It might be some other aspect or some other game. So things will change. But the Adult Center is going to be there. The Campbell Adult Center will be at the heart of it. I really appreciate all of you giving me the time to give you a glimpse and an overview of what we do. You're all invited to our March 18th Adult Center orientation at 11 a.m. But thank you. Thank you for your time.
Before you guys jump into questions, thank you, Kevin. Great job. I just want to share too that these programs and services are free. The classes and trips are paid for programs, but those services and the case management and the nutrition are free to the public. Nutrition has a suggested donation, but if you can't pay it, it's not a deal breaker. So just wanted to share that too.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. Do we have any comments from the public? Online? Okay, opening it up for discussion. Any questions or comments for Kevin?
See, it's not as easy as it looks. See?
You talk about the classes, I take body conditioning twice a week. Very reasonable cost, and the teacher, wonderful. And I thank you so much.
Yeah, she's
Really
awesome. Yeah.
Appreciate it.
We're trying to get more of those. She called me and said she wants to teach more classes. That's one of our waiting list only classes that she's like, too many people need this. I need to teach more classes. So, okay, we'll take it.
That's a good segue to my question. So if there's a waiting list for all the classes, what's the barrier to expansion? Is it facilities, funding? What's the barrier to more?
First barrier is always facilities, right? It's always, we have one dance studio that is heavily fought over and everybody wants it. So the first barrier is always facilities. After that, it's the number of instructors. I don't necessarily have a Pilates instructor in my back pocket. In fact, we have a yoga Pilates class where we mixed yoga and Pilates so that one instructor can teach all the aspects, right? So there's always barriers, but our goal is that we are trying to meet as many needs as we can.
I have a question. So speaking of facilities, last time we talked, we were going over the plans of the renovations for the senior adult center. Do you have any updates on the timeline for those renovations?
I can share with that. So there was some financial barriers with that project, and so we have pretty much stripped it down to kind of there's no flash or flurry in that project, and pushing forward with the construction docs. So we should be done. It should be good in the next month or so. Have something kind of more finalized that would be headed off to council, and then it'll be a discussion as part of the budget for this year to increase funding to that project.
What is the format for accessing the social services or case management aspect of things? Is it like one phone number to call, or how do people find you? How can we tell people how to find you?
Yeah, that's a great question. So this is where our front desk come in to, be integral to what we are capable of offering. Is they can call our front desk at the adult center and say, hey, I need help with X or Y. And then they are capable of saying, yeah, we do have that knowledge. We can help you get associated with our next meeting with our legal team. Sala is coming in next month, and we can sign them up for a meeting with that. If they need help with their cell phone, yeah, we can line them up with the next time that we have a tech tutoring appointment and stuff like that. So yeah, it's the phone call at the front desk and then disseminating them down to where they can possibly get help. And when we really need it, we lean on Tina and we lean on Pat to really help out with where that kind of social necessity is going to come from.
Awesome, thank you.
Our activity guide is printed 3 times a year, and there's an entire section for 50 plus, and that does include all the program services, clubs, and classes that are associated with the adult center, and it's always available online as well.
We also do a newsletter 4 times a year as well. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, for our members.
How do you guys decide like what programs and activities you guys are going to do? Like, do you take like member polling, or is it the department that decides?
All of the above. So a lot of it depends on, so for example, one of my instructors came to me and said he really wants to do a healing through poetry class, right? It helped him immensely in his grief that he had recently gone through. And so he figured maybe he could help others with that problem as well. So we started a healing with poetry class. We've got 10 people enrolled in it, right? Next session, we're looking for other creative writing programs and things like that. But that's because people have reached to us and said, hey, I recognize that we need XYZ in our programming. So I try and find an instructor for that. But again, I don't have an instructor pocket or just a bag of, instructors that I can pull out. So it's oftentimes a lot when people can reach out to me, or we can put out looking for an instructor type of on Indeed or some other job searching site.
Okay, thank you so much, Tina and Kevin.
Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. You guys have a great night.
Really helpful.
Okay, bunnies and bonnets.
Okay, so the annual Bunnies and Bonnets Parade will be on Saturday, April 5th, if I'm saying that correctly. Just double check. Yeah, Saturday, April 4th, I apologize. So historically, the Park and Recreation Commission has participated in that parade. The parade starts at noon. The lineup is usually around 11. And so I am here to find out if the commission would like to participate and in what capacity. And I know years ago, commissioners worked with local nurseries to get tomato starters, like tomato plants, and they would get X number donated, and they would set up a little table on a corner, and as people were coming in to watch the parade, they would just hand them out until they were gone, and then they would participate in the parade. Other times we've just simply participated in the parade. But again, this is at the pleasure of the commission. So if there is interest, I'll submit an application on your behalf and be there to support the commission in whatever capacity you choose.
Or do we just say that we're interested?
So as a discussion, if like you probably, I mean, if it's just you, I don't think you want to walk down the street afraid of one. So I mean, it's better if there's a group. We've done in the past, we've done like a decorated trailer, like a float kind of thing, and commissioners have walked. The museum will be using the Yurkovich truck, which we've used before, so we don't have access to that. But we could come up with other things, or we can just simply walk down the street. We have a banner that says Parks and Recreation Commission. We don't tend to hand out candy just because the kids come in and it's very dangerous. So we just kind of walk and wave, or have bubble guns we could get. If you have kids, they're welcome to participate and walk with you too. So it's a family friendly kind of event, but it's totally up to your call of what you'd like to do.
Tina and Commissioner Lee and I did it last year. It was fun, and you brought your whole family.
Yeah, we did it last year. I will say that it was more eventful on the truck than walking. I think walking, it was kind of hard for us to keep up. So yeah, and I think there were 3 of us plus my 2 kids. But yeah, just to think about that, is it was kind of felt a little bit more like an event sitting on a vintage truck than walking. Yeah.
Do we have access to a vintage truck?
Well, I think that it's being used by the museum, unfortunately, right?
So the vintage truck is being used. I don't know if there's another truck that we could utilize and decorate more like a float of some sort, which we've done before, and have commissioners in the back just waving. That could be enough. Yeah, so if that's an option you'd like to go down, I would just want commitment from the commission, and then if we're gonna decorate it, I'll leave some time to come meet with me and we can brainstorm on what to do and
So I'll just say, I can't participate. I have a work commitment for a preserve opening. It's not confirmed yet, but if that doesn't go forward, I would be happy to join, but I want to make it clear I can't right now.
I'm interested in doing it, and I bring my children. Last year I was out of town in Fiction. It sounds like a good time.
I think Ainsley has something going on at the community center with children's art. Did you hear about that one?
they wouldn't do it. They're in the parade.
Oh, well then maybe I can, all right, because I had put that down here, but I guess I'll be available then. That doesn't make sense?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'll have to double check that.
Okay.
Ainsley Art Project. See, Shirley, were you guys interested?
I would, I'd love to join. I'd be happy to volunteer time decorating a vehicle if the vehicle is the way that we go. And also, I thought the tomato plant handout sounded really cool. I would be happy to, I don't know, if that entailed going to nurseries and seeing if they would donate any. I love our local nurseries, and I'm a bit of a plant freak, so I would happily participate in that if that was of interest.
Yeah, I would say that's a great idea.
I think I can be in the parade. I'm not sure if I'm available that date, but if I am, I would absolutely be in the parade and be happy to decorated truck.
Okay, so it's a yes. I'll submit an application on your behalf. I will brainstorm with Ron offline about a truck that we could utilize. It sounds like everyone can participate except for Brian, correct? And you were gonna explore options for possibly a tomato plant. It doesn't have to be tomato, that's just what they've done in before, so you can do whatever works for you. If that's the case and you do get donations, let me know, because then we can be sure to have a table and get that set up for you. And for people who said they would be willing to decorate, I have Missy and Shirley. Are any others interested to decorate? Maybe?
Interested also.
Decorate?
Depends on the
Okay, love it. All right, I will be in touch once I come up with a master plan. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, meeting at a park?
Okay, so I put this on the agenda just so that we could kind of plan this out. Not only as part of your goals and work plan items, you wanted to host 2 meetings in the park. We generally do these in the May to October just because of weather. It does require us to cancel a meeting and post a special meeting. So that's why I want to talk about it, because otherwise it comes upon us and vacations and things like that happen. So this is open for discussion on when you would like to have a meeting in a park and what potential parks you would be interested in. One suggestion was to have it at the most recently opened trail at the Fernyard Creek Trail, to host a meeting there, and we could walk the trail. The skate park will be reopening. We will be having an opening event, but you could also host a meeting again there. We have not been back out to Jack Fisher Park. We'll see the story walk since it's been installed. That could be another alternative. So just throwing out some ideas, and then next would be also deciding which months would be.
And the facilities tour is our next agenda item. So that would include like the Campbell Community Center.
That was
Is that right?
specific to see the facility for the aquatics facility.
Okay.
Yeah, and so that would be another month. So we would be having 3 meetings outside of the space, which takes some coordination and planning. And oftentimes we don't do them at 7 p.m., which also for those of you who are working can be challenging. So just want to ensure that you plan accordingly and that it works for everybody. It doesn't have to be at 5, but it can be earlier, whatever works.
Any thoughts or ideas from the commission?
So we're able to pick any day in the month, like it doesn't have to be that same day.
We stick to the same meeting day, ideally.
It's just-
Yeah, but if that doesn't, I mean, generally, because the commissioners have already kind of set aside that day of the month, so.
Yeah, just moving earlier so we have
That makes
daylight,
sense.
yeah. Yeah, I like the Campbell Park idea. Yeah, although I mean, I would suggest meeting at Campbell Park and then deciding if that's, doesn't seem too far a walk to me, but yeah. Well, no, to the access way to Bruneyard. Yeah, it's nothing, yeah, okay, that's what I was checking in on, but then we could meet at Campbell Park and look at that facility, and then.
That in May?
I think that's a good combination of being able to see sort of that central area of the park and see the new crossway.
Yeah, May?
I like that.
We'll do it in May? Post May?
Yeah, I think May works.
Okay.
It works.
Okay, so we have Campbell Park for May, and I think one more park. You know, I think the skate park might be interesting to see the new facility, or Jack Fisher was the other park that Natasha brought up.
But you can do any park. I was just trying to give you some suggestions.
I guess for the there's gonna be a skate park opening event. I don't know if we have to be there, but I think if we're gonna be there for that, maybe we use another opportunity.
Do we know when the skate park opening is gonna be?
We are, the actual opening of the park will happen when the project is complete
Oh,
and
so
signed
it-
off. We are looking to do like a ribbon cutting.
That would be nice.
April 18th is
Oh.
our current target date right now, but we anticipate the skate park being open in the park early April.
Oh, that's soon. That's wonderful. Okay.
So if we're going to do a meeting in a park in May, we might want to look for fall for the second meeting in a park, maybe September timeframe. So August, September, October, just to kind of break it up a little bit. And if we have a
second park idea, preferences for a second park?
If I remember correctly, will there be like some construction underway at that time at Fisher?
John D. Morgan?
Oh, no, at John D. Moore. Okay, I got my J's. Yeah, I got my J's mixed up.
Okay.
I wasn't sure if that would be a pro or a con.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
John D. Morgan is an option. I think we visited John D. Morgan a year ago or 2 years ago.
Yeah, they blur.
Yeah.
Must
I
be
think
two.
Edith
I think
Morley
it's been
was the
2
most
years.
recent
Yeah.
one.
Yeah,
So
it wasn't last year. It must have been the year before.
So most
Yeah.
commissioners haven't been, just the two of us, I think, haven't been to John D. Morgan yet. So that's another great option. And September timeframe would be after construction, right?
No,
No?
be right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle of it.
I would suggest probably waiting till that project's done.
Yeah.
Have a firm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
During
During,
construction. Okay.
So maybe Jack Fisher?
Jack
Yeah,
Fisher?
let's do Fisher.
Something
I like
like
that.
that. Okay.
Sure.
And did you have a month in mind?
September sounded good.
Yeah, that looks good.
All right, so what I'm hearing, so we would need a motion for both these to have the May meeting posted at Campbell Park and walk over to see the new trailhead, and have a motion to have the September meeting located at Jack Fisher Park.
Can I put them together?
Sure.
Okay, I move that our May meeting be held at Campbell Park and our September meeting be held at Jack Fisher Park. Times, do we need to determine that now?
That would probably be best, yes.
I know we have a lot of working people here, so maybe we hold on the motion till we figure out the time. What time works for the people who work?
I think we did 5 o'clock last time, and we were able to make it work at least. Ahead of time.
Yeah, and I was checking my calendar, both those days work.
5:30 might be better for me.
5:30?
Yeah.
5:30?
5:30?
5:30 for both meetings?
Yeah.
All right, so amending the motion, I move that our May meeting be held at Campbell Park at 5:30 and our September meeting be held at Jack Fisher at 5:30.
I'll
Second.
second. Oh, go ahead.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstains? Thank you.
Okay, great. And so the facilities tour,
So this was just another work plan that you guys had suggested. So having a tour of the aquatics facility at the community center. So looking to see when the commission would like to host that. In this instance, we could host on our campus in one of our classrooms and have an official meeting, even kind of a Zoom room style meeting, and then adjourn the meeting and go have a tour of the facility. So it wouldn't be standing around. So if there was additional business that needed to be addressed, it would be in a more formal setting.
When you say host a facility tour, does that mean that we're inviting the public for the tour?
The public is always invited when we go off-site, so as they're welcome here too. So
Uh-huh.
if we were conducting anything and a member of the public showed up, they would have full access to the tour that we'd be doing as well.
But that wouldn't be the purpose of this. The tour is primarily for us.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
part of your goals and work plan
Okay.
was to have a facility tour in years past, we've done park tours and seen different parks, especially when we were going into like a new major project. So in this instance, commissioners had requested to see it because there's a major pool project on the agenda coming for our capital projects. And so to see the state of the facilities, if you're not an existing user, you wouldn't understand what it entails. And then, you know, if it was the pleasure of the commission, we could also arrange to see other community centers that have aquatics facilities, like later on when the project moves forward, kind of get other ideas too. So those are always options. I know when we were looking at doing the all-inclusive playground over at John D. Morgan, we had taken the commissioners on a tour of all-inclusive parks in the county and kind of saw, so they could see what they look like in different
Very
locations.
interesting.
So, yeah.
Great.
Well, I think it'd be really interesting to do the aquatics tour in the summer when the pool's getting a lot of use, because I think that's the conversation we've been having, is that it's such a well-used pool that, is having maintenance challenges. And so, I think that would then leave us June, July, maybe August. Would anyone?
I think that's a good idea.
Okay.
I think we.
Okay, so I think we need a motion for
And so you would, a date and time.
a date and a time and a motion.
Sorry, a month and a time.
Month at a time.
Yeah.
Okay.
I might propose not July because I know the department is super busy with different events, so that just seems like a lot. And in fact, I think Touch a Truck is the first.
Yeah, it's in the morning.
Oh, it's in the morning. Oh, okay.
Oh,
I just
June.
remember seeing something. I brought my.
It is.
So perhaps June or August.
We're already going someplace in June, right?
No, it's May.
Oh, it's May
Yeah.
now. Okay.
Well, what if we do July, and that gives us a
No,
month in
no,
between here?
July, we have all the
We have,
all
Parks
the
and
events.
Recreation.
oh.
So how
okay.
about August?
July, I mean, this is still part of my job, so it's still, I'm just saying, no, it's fine. It's like whether we're here or there makes.
No,
no
but I mean-
difference.
Doesn't
So
make any
it's up
difference.
to you
We
guys.
want to be involved in a lot of this
Yeah.
stuff in July, so that would be even
Yeah.
more.
Mhm.
So that's why I've suggested
Ah.
August.
I think that's fine, yeah. Okay, some nods, 5:30 as well. Okay, would anyone like to move?
I move that we do, what is it, the aquatic?
The facilities tour?
The facilities tour, August 5th at 5:30.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No abstains? Thank you.
Thank you. Community events?
All right, so,
It's the one at the community center.
yes.
Just want to check. Okay, cool. Thank you.
One and only. So community events this Saturday, our team will be hosting a summer camp and swim lesson open house. We will also be having a preschool open house at the community center. So vendors who operate contract classes with us and our day camp staff will be hosting booths inside the Orchard City Banquet Hall. Our swim staff will be doing swim assessments to ensure parents enroll their children in the right swim level. So it should be a fun day out at the community center, and the weather should hold. It's a completely free event. There will be kind of door prizy things as you come in and do that. We have a history happy hour on Friday the 13th. It's Mary Brown in California with Tanya McQuaid. So tickets are $25. They take place at the Carriage House. Peninsula Symphony presents Canadian Brass at the Heritage Theater on Saturday, March 14th. Martin Media presents Russ Taff and Steve Taylor at the Heritage Theater on Friday, March 20th. The Campbell Chamber of Commerce is hosting the 58th annual Celebrate Campbell. It's a black tie event. It's going to be at the Cannery. Tickets are $150. I have it on good authority that the person who's been selected as Citizen of the Year is a long-term volunteer of ours, and so it should be an exciting event. There is a tribute to the legendary Linda Ronstadt featuring Shannon Ray on Saturday, March 21st at the Heritage Theater. The museum's doing a volunteer recruitment event on Thursday, March 26th. So if you know friends who are looking for ways to get involved in the community, it's a great way to start volunteering. And Campbell Union School District is partnering with the Friends of the Heritage Theater to host and present Alice in Wonderland by the middle schoolers. This one I think is Monroe Middle School, and they will have 3 performances over the weekend of the 26th, 27th, and 28th. We'll have a kids' night at the community center. CERT's 8th annual Taste of Campbell event will be on Saturday, March 28th in our banquet hall. Tickets are $55 for that. And then, as you know, we will be having the Bunnies and Bonnets on Saturday, April 4th, as well as the extravaganza in the morning at the community center on the fields. It's the extravaganza is hosted by the Kiwanis Club and Community Christian, and the Bunnies and Bonnets is done through the Downtown Campbell Business Association. And that's all I have. Happy to answer any questions.
Busy March. Any questions for Natasha?
I saw the kids' night at the Campbell Community Center got canceled.
The last one?
The last one?
Yeah,
Is that-
probably due to low enrollment. Yeah, so if they don't have enough people, then they'll have to
Just cancel it, okay.
Yeah.
Just a comment, for you that I don't know, Mary Brown of John Brown fame, right? That's the wife of John Brown, the abolitionist? Yeah, yeah,
Yes, I read this.
yeah.
Okay, no other questions. Thank you. Staff reports, Parks.
All right, good evening, Commissioners. We have our cab project coming up on Saturday, April 4th. Also, cab is for Keep America Beautiful. We have a project slated for at the community center. We will. I've talked to Lauren. We're going to stay away from the whole extravaganza and that chaos over there. We have a small project going on the south end of the running track. There's a slope there. Any of you have walked that, you can see where a lot of the mulch and everything is kind of washed down on top of the track a little bit. Some of the decomposed granite from the pathways down. So our focus is going to be working in that area, doing a little grading, adding new mulch, addressing that pathway, the DG pathway that takes from Campbell Avenue down to the running track. That's going to be addressed. It's got a lot of ruts and holes in it. We're taking care of that. And I believe we have 2 trees going in. So that project will be going on Saturday, April 4th, which I was going to say I'm looking for volunteers, but it looks like everybody's volunteered for the Bunnies and Bonnets. I have nobody. So, but yeah, we are looking for volunteers. We have some people, we've had a few people sign up. We're hoping that we get some more here in the next couple of weeks, but we're looking forward to the event. It should be good. Dress up that area. It's kind of somewhat off the beaten path a little bit, and it needs some attention over there. So we're going to be trimming some of the trees up that are along our fence line to the properties that are adjacent to that. Just the low hanging stuff, because I know most of that is made for privacy barrier for the homes there, but we will be picking some of that up. Some of the trees are hanging. So that is happening on Saturday the 4th, and it is from 9 till about 11:30. It's a volunteer project, so we're not looking for very many volunteers. 30 total is what we're looking for. So if you know anybody that would like to help us volunteer, please have them come out and see us or get signed up. Appreciate that. Also, at the running track, we have a resident reached out to us who would like to make a donation for a bench at the running track. What we'll be doing is we need to go to council for their approval to accept the donation first for the bench. The request is to put the bench at the north end of the running track. There's kind of a little lawn area there, some pine trees there, to put it underneath the trees there. So, you know, people out there, they got kind of a resting spot in a shady area. So we're working on that. Hopefully we'll be going to council in May and getting their approval, and then we'll move forward on that. So in the past, it's been almost 99% time it's been approved. So I wanted to let you know on that. Also, really exciting, today we received 3 brand new ride-on fully electric lawnmowers. Yeah. So this was all possible through a grant from Silicon Valley Clean Energy. The city was approved and awarded a grant of $216,000. So we were able to buy three large ride-on mowers that you'll probably see going on at our different parks, completely fully electric. They'll stand out because they're called Greenworks, so they're like a fluorescent green, so you can't miss them. But we're really excited to have those. So yeah, and part of that grant too, we were able to order 2 fully electric Ford Lightning trucks for our staff. So we're putting money to good use. So you should see those electric lawnmowers. You won't hear them, but you'll see them. They're going to be pretty quiet. So, yeah, real excited about that. Last week we did along the Los Gatos Creek Trail, way down at the southern end where there's a spillway down as you get right before you get to Camden Avenue, Santa Monica Expressway. There was a kind of a split rail guardrail there that had a lower and top 2x6 board. We found out that one of the boards was rotted out and fell off, and upon inspection, we found a lot of those boards were in poor shape. Been there for a long time, up against the weather and everything. So we had a contractor come out. They put about 190 lineal feet of new redwood handrail, top and bottom, all new carriage bolts, hardware, and everything. So got that all nice and secure, and it's safe now. So that was completed last Friday. Happy to get that done. And then also we are working with Santa Clara Valley Water District right now. I talked about in the last meeting, we have some erosion on the side of our trail that is just a little bit south of the Campbell Park pedestrian bridge. It's on the east side. So we're working with Santa Clara Valley Water District, and the issue is that they will not do any repairs till between May and October, and they're not sure how many repairs they'll be able to do. What's happened is a lot of the trees that are in the water line in the creek have diverted the water, almost put it at a 90-degree angle, so the water, when it was rushing, was coming, and then the water was forced up against the embankment, so it really eroded it away. So for our safety of our people that use the trail and everything public, we are working with them, and work will be done by our city staff. We are going to put a little bit of a diversion to that trail, a little meander to it. What we're having to do is we're going to put water-filled K-rails, they're orange water-filled K-rails instead of the concrete ones. It's going to divert it out about 6 feet from that edge, and we're going to add onto the existing trail 6 feet of asphalt. So there's about 40 lineal feet that's eroded. So you're probably going to hardly notice. You're going to come out just about maybe 8 or 10 feet. It'll meander, and then it'll bring you right back onto the existing trail. Just want to do that because we're not sure, and we're not getting a commitment from Santa Clara Valley Water District how soon they're going to do these things. And I don't want to leave it exposed for as long as this, because what we've noticed, we are putting barricades out there, putting caution tape and stuff, and then we find out, we go out there, and then our barricades are down in the water because somebody's throwing them down there. So we need to put something that's more permanent where people can't move it, and just a lot safer, because it is after, and I appreciate Michael, you bring that to my attention. When I did go out there, that is a sheer drop off of probably 25 or 30 feet. It's very dangerous. So as our responsibility, we want to make it safe. So go out there and put some more permanent safety rails and precautions in there. And then once repairs are all done, that's about all I have to report on. Does anybody have a question? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Ron. Okay, recreation and community services.
All right. So just a reminder, we do have our open house. Hopefully you can pop in and say hello. It's from 11 to 1 this weekend. Our summer preview that does have all of our camps and swim lessons is online right now. We'll have an early bird registration for our residents on March 17th, and it reopens on the 18th. We are still finishing up the full summer guide that'll have everything that'll get mailed out in April to our residents. And the skate ramps are scheduled for installation starting next week, so they should be showing up. Ron's team did an excellent, quick job of clearing that space, so it went really well. The Express Library will be closing on our campus on April 4th, and the new library is slated to open on May 9th. So that is an update. The Ainsley House, it always closes after the holidays. It is scheduled to reopen to the public this weekend. And then just one of the things that our department is responsible for in the event of emergency, just so you guys are aware, is care and shelter. So just recently there was an apartment fire this week that displaced residents. And so in partnership with the American Red Cross, we did activate a shelter for displaced residents from fire. And that was started on Monday. I got notification on my way here that they had just closed it down. So it looks like they are getting people back into their units and all that, but just something, other duties that we do for the community. So, and that's all I have. Happy to answer questions. Yeah, yeah.
Any questions?
Would you say again, when is the Express Library closing?
April 4th.
April 4th.
So there'll be about a month with no candle service.
Okay. All right. Good of the game.
This is a little bit through the grapevine, but my husband was walking our dog and was chit-chatting with a neighbor who was out and about in Gomez Park, and he just volunteered to my husband as they were talking that he loves that park. He's a neighbor that uses a motorized wheelchair, and so he was like, this is the closest park to my house, and it's really nice that I can just come here and sit in the shade. And Gomez Park is like my personal little favorite park because no one had to put a park there, and it's one of my favorite things about Campbell that we did. But so I enjoy it, and we just spontaneously heard about how much our neighbors enjoy it too, and I wanted to share that.
I guess I'll have to change my opinion that we need do something different with Gomez Park. Because it's, my original opinion was it was a waste of the space to have like something more intensive to have like a more intensive use, but it's good to hear. I just wanted to mention that because we were talking about multimodal and you were talking about giving a little TLC to that entrance. So some of the, existing facilities, we walk on the bridge over San Tomas, get to John D. Morgan, and then we walk to the community center. And there's also was the thought, I think maybe 5 years ago, the blinking light was added to Campbell Avenue, which I would not cross there without the blinking light. And so that makes that walking path very nice for us. And it also, it's easy access to the track. So you don't have to walk around and go by the cars at the entrance to the community center. So that all works very nice for like my whole community to be able to access the community center.
So my good of the game is the Valentine Fun Run. Exceptional organization. I mean, there's over 800 runners.
Yeah.
And then you imagine all the people that are with them. It was never a moment of chaos, at least that I saw. And I was at the registration table. We were at the registration table. So I really wanted to commend, is it Liz? Lauren, for all her work on that. And I wanted to say a special note for Kevin Martz, who did all the announcing for the event and really kept it going and really kept people engaged and participating. So I just wanted to add those two things.
I saw the summer catalog preview today and a lot of really great content, creative summer camps, lots of like STEM or STEAM, camps, really innovative. I wanted to join one of those camps myself, especially the ocean engineering one. Yeah, there's some really great summer camps. I also like that there are some that are catered to 4-year-olds because I do have a 4-year-old now too. And I just wanted to say, because I think some of the camps have pretty large age ranges, like from 8 years old to 13 or to even 17. And my niece went to one last year, and she said that she was feeling pretty intimidated being mixed in with some like 12, 13-year-olds. So just to put that out there, that maybe for some of the younger kids, if there is some work to group them together so that they're not mixing as much with the older kids. Although some younger kids like being with older kids, so it's hard to say. But yeah. Anyone else?
I guess soccer season is in full swing, and I've seen that JDM, the part of the grass looks great from last fall after it got torn up so often because of all the rain. I was out there today. They're painting the lines for soccer fields. It looks great. And also very excited for Saturday's open house.
I know the ad hoc for Park Rec month, if you guys wanted to share out.
Yeah, hopefully you've all, I think everybody received.
No, I think it's.
Oh dear, okay, so we need to share that with the whole group because Liz has asked our committee to talk with all of you about looking at your July calendar and hopefully signing up for, I think she mentioned 1 to 3 of these activities because they'd like participation by Parks and Rec Commission on everything that's covered on during that month.
Oh, that's what you did.
And as soon as you figure that out, then, we'll take your names and what you want to do and we'll give it to Liz. So,
You guys are welcome. Well, actually, no, because that would violate the Brown Act. So you don't want to be like doing
Oh.
conversation outside. That's why this is kind of your opportunity to share with them about the upcoming
Oh,
events
okay.
that we have.
can we at least get this out to the rest of the commission?
Yes, I can send that out
Okay,
later.
good. So
Yeah.
please look for that from Natasha. Okay, good.
You're still welcome.
And I was gonna ask, do we need to put it as like an agenda item to like get everybody signed up?
We definitely can do that. I can put that on for next month. I can
That's
send it
good.
out to everybody and everyone can maybe look at their calendars. We can put it
That's a
as,
good idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
as an agenda item.
perfect.
Yeah.
And what month is next? Oh, no, Liz will be here in May, so. So I was like, if she's coming, we'll just make her do it.
Okay, with that, I'll adjourn the meeting of the Parks and Recreation Commission. Thank you very much and see you in April.
Thank you, Gina.